Now when we're pulling our espresso shots and we're really unhappy with the result we're getting, for one, maybe the shot is pulling really slow, it's really thick, and has a bitter smell to it, and we know that our coffee is probably ground too fine. Vice versa, if it's pulling super fast, really thin and watery, then we can assume that our coffee is definitely too coarse and we need to adjust our grind. First, we want to make sure that our tamping and all of our technique is consistent, but if we're doing all that consistently, then we go to our grinder. So when we look at our grinder, it has a grinding collar on the top and it's 2 blades. All right, so when they're closer together, the grind is going to be finer. When it's spread apart, the grind is going to be more coarse. And so when we want to adjust our grind, if we want, for instance, if our shot is pulling too fast and the ground's too coarse, then we want to make the grind finer. And we'll do that by turning it counterclockwise. And it is labeled on top of the grinder which direction to go. And we only want to move the blade about 1 millimeter to 3 millimeters, just a notch, 2 notches. The slightest movement on the grinder will go a long way. So just minimal movements to make the adjustment that we need. After that, you want to purge. That's going to be done by clicking the center button that's signified by a little pointing hand. We'll hold that down and receive the grinds into the tray and just let the grind go into effect. You can dispose of all that, then we can go ahead to prep for another shot. If the grind is too fine for us and the shots are pulling too slow, then we want to turn the grind collar clockwise, and that's going to make the grinds more coarse. Now when we're looking at the grind of the espresso, even in itself, if it's really soft, then we can probably assume that the grind is too fine. If it's coarse like sand, then it's probably too coarse. We want to find a nice middle, and so that's what we're aiming for as we're setting our grind. And so we really need to be mindful of our technique and how the shots are pulling to make the adjustments that we need to make on the grinder. So after we've adjusted the grind and we've prepped our shots and we've run shots, another thing that might cause for shots to not pull the way we want could be that the dosage is off. A good way to determine that is simply by looking in after we've tamped. Is that the level low? Is the level too high? And we need to know what we're looking for. Now if we need to change our dosage, if the level is too low, if it's too high, we want to go up on top of the grinder and we're going to hold the menu button. It'll flash and then we can select the double cup or the double dose so that we can change the time of the grinder. To change the timing, we'll hit the plus or minus, and we only want to go 1 or 2 clicks, maybe 3, and that's going to change it by 0.05 seconds. So at the max, 0.15 seconds should be our alteration. At the max, we only want to change 0.15 seconds, or 3 clicks, typically on our dosage. We don't want to make drastic changes because a little bit goes a long way when we're pulling espresso shots. So after we've changed the dosage, there's one thing that we do need to understand. There's a fine balance on electric grinders when we're changing the dosage and adjusting the grind. For instance, when you make the grind a lot finer, you're gonna have less coffee pushing through the blades. So maybe you need to up the dosage. If you make the grind more coarse, you're gonna have more coffee pushing through the blades, so you might need to decrease the dosage.